What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we are watching Sega Scourge, right? Yeah, Sega Scourge. What if Sonic lost his memory? Part 3. Sonic, what if? Yeah, this story's really good, man. And excuse me, I can tell you again. I'm in a hotel room. Got a plumbing problem at my house, so you know me. And the show don't stop. It do not stop. I'm not just playing, but we're gonna get into it, man. Hold this camera, stay up. This is like my old setup. Nigga. I got the camera on the laptop. Now I got it. I got the dual monitors now. It's, I'm on my. But anyway, there you go.
After days of routinely scouring for the missing hero, Tails finally concludes the futility of the search. Why? Because it's Sonic. They could spend months looking for him, but if he doesn't want to be found, he won't be. He'll show up when he's ready to.
Right.
Remember that time that he vanished after fighting Eggman on the moon, only to show up flying through the sky as Supersonic days later? Yeah, that sort of thing. Taking the role of de facto commander to this little Sonic search and rescue operation, Tails wrangles up everyone and gathers them at a makeshift base of operations at Cream and Vanilla's house. This setup proves to be advantageous, since Dr. Eggman is still at large. Tails' abode is a potential target. Not to mention, both Cream and Vanilla are on deck, keeping everyone energized with a steady supply of tea and biscuits. But even with this added comfort, the team can't shake the uneasiness from their hearts. Spending their first few minutes after entering sat in silence in the living room, mulling over what to do next. Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, Team Rose, and the Chaotix are all present and accounted for. Omega is still rogue, having opted to go after Dr. Eggman alone after the Egg Fleet's crash. However, aside from Omega, it becomes readily apparent that another member of their ragtag unit hasn't made an appearance at this rendezvous, that being Shadow. The dusky hedgehog has blown past their meetup time, and those present begin to worry and ask who saw him last. The Chaotix raise their hands, beckoning the attention of everyone in the room, and go on to remind them of the assignment Shadow gave them before they split up previously.
Right.
He asked them to look into that Silver character who attacked them all. When Amy asks what they discovered, Vector regretfully reveals that even the skillful sleuthing of the Chaotix detective agency couldn't find any dirt on Silver. It's as if he doesn't even exist. But they did manage to find him and track his movements, passing the info of his whereabouts over to Shadow. That's the last time they saw him before he took off. The team grow increasingly concerned about Shadow and Sonic's safety with Silver still out there. Even Knuckles, having grown to trust Shadow more through their time together, feigns a lack of care despite hiding his genuine concern. They go on to recall Silver's claims and his potential depiction of the future world, referencing the androids that he said looked just like Sonic. While it's clear that these things do exist, the ones that Rouge saw aboard the Final Fortress have all since been destroyed, but Silver said there were more. And yet there's no concrete evidence to prove that. As Tails tries to quell the uneasiness in the air, reminding them of Shadow's resilience, a gentle knock at the front door goes unheard by all except Rouge and Espio. Vanilla enters the room, highlighting the arrival of another hedgehog and seeing the caller in. Naturally, everyone assumes this to be Shadow, but Rouge and Espio stand alert, silently facing the archway to the corridor when, from around the corner comes Silver. In a rampant moment of disarray, Knuckles flips the large living room table towards Silver as the entire group leap in to tackle their uninvited guest. Even Cheese comes flying in for a bop on the head, but in that instant, Silver merely raises both his hands and halts them in their tracks, catching the flying table and porcelain tea set in the process. Silver then turns to the startled Vanilla, the only one he hasn't froze.
Sorry about that, ma'am. I hope nothing's broken. I tried to catch everything as best I could.
Forget the junk. Where's Shadow? What have you done to him?
Listen, I'm not here to fight. I just want to talk. Shadow's fine. He's the one who told me to come here.
The team go from aggressive to confused as Silver proceeds to explain, all the while holding them gently in their floating binds.
Right.
In the 2 days after Sonic vanished a week ago, Silver went about accomplishing his mission to destroy the Sonic androids and prevent their attack on organic life. Silver's strategy is to locate every facility where they're being kept in storage and destroy them before they awaken. This is possible due to Silver's foreknowledge of where these facilities are in his time, All he has to do is go back to each of those locations here in the past, and that's where he'll find the androids. This explains why he arrived aboard the final fortress last time, as the ruins of the ship still exist in his future. Though the landscape of the planet is substantially different compared to what it looks like 200 years from then, Silver arrived at a cave entrance to one of Dr. Eggman's secret bunkers. Upon propelling inside at great haste, Silver found yet another collection of sonic androids, slumbering in their containment pods. As he stepped forward, preparing to carve them down with a flurry of psychic knives, a voice echoed out from behind him. Silver turned, and from the dimly lit hallway stepped forth Shadow, who'd arrived following that hot tip from the Chaotix. Silver was understandably contentious towards Shadow going by how their last encounter went, but became more conversive once he and Shadow began to talk. Shadow, having seen the androids with his own eyes, opened up and disclosed the reason these things exist. Shadow summarized all the events that preceded Silver's arrival. This included the space colony arc and the battle to save Earth, furthermore Sonic's sacrifice, his subsequent memory loss, and his falling into the hands of the Doctor, leading to the creation of these disgusting fakes, as Shadow calls them. Their talk was then rudely interrupted as Eggman himself made an appearance, piloting his Eggmobile. He commended them on being able to find but one of his many bunkers. For some reason, he then starts to spur the pair to go ahead and destroy the androids present, taunting them, stating that there's plenty more where they came from. When asked how many, Eggman smiles and replies with,
"An army. Far more than you can handle
shit.
alone. And in mere days from now, that army will march on the world. There's no hope. Even with an army of your own, even if you started recruiting right now, there's no slither of a chance that you'll win."
Silver, a paragon of idealism, tried to warn Eggman of the danger these androids pose, while Shadow let forth disparaging remarks, calling the androids pathetic and that they pale in comparison to the original. This statement incited the Doctor to deliver the punchline he'd been saving.
"Oh, did I neglect to mention? I have the original. Sonic works for me now. Seems someone helped him to reevaluate who his enemies are."
Eggman unveiled that Sonic himself is now aligned with the Eggman Empire and will be the forefront of his android legion in battle. Shadow was dismayed by the announcement, refusing to believe it at first, but seeing the truth of it just by looking at the sheer glee on the Doctor's face. Shadow pondered what kind of sick turn of events could bring Sonic to unify with Eggman just like he once did, but he's cut short as the mad scientist placed the cherry on the cake.
"Oh, and don't worry. If you're striving to restore his memories, I'll happily do that for you. Right after I have him mow down his former
voice acting.
friends. Yes, he'll wake just long enough to see his handiwork, and in that moment of complete despair, I'll be rid of him forever."
Sonic is still Eggman's arch nemesis, of course. Even with him on his side, he hates that hedgehog. And as I stated in part 1 of this What If, he could have easily axed Sonic while he was asleep in the pod, but that's not Eggman's style. He wants to crush him, weigh him down to his lowest point, to mold an undeniable victory, and then finish him. Silver the Hedgehog, repulsed by the villainy he'd just heard, nabbed Eggman in his psychic hold, but the Doctor then calmly uttered a code word that released the hatches on all of the surrounding pods in the room.
Shit.
The androids crept forth, dripping with green sludge, and the madman commanded them to defend him. Silver tried to restrain them too, but there were simply too many to hold. He was forced to unbind the Eggmobile in order to focus on the approaching foes. As Eggman labeled the scene a good test run for his creations, he promptly vacated the bunker and flew away. Shadow and Silver fought for their lives against an android onslaught, dogpiling them from every direction, trying their best to fight back, but hindered by the enclosed space of the room. Shadow's homing attack proved ineffective as the android mob retaliated with homing attacks of their own. They scraped and clamored, letting loose tracer missiles from inbuilt launchers that blew apart the stockade. Androids went hurling backwards one after another as, with great effort, the two hedgehogs managed to succeed in defeating them. Silver fell to his knees and wheezed while Shadow stood holding his shoulder. He comments on the androids, stating that they weren't nearly as powerful as the real Sonic, but they're incredibly resilient, and their strength in numbers is alarmingly deadly. Silver notes that Eggman might start moving the androids as a precaution because of this incident, closing his window of opportunity to strike. Shadow thought for a moment before turning to Silver and urging him to join forces with Tails, Knuckles, and the others, firmly advising him that they're the heroes here.
Right.
They fight the Doctor, and they'll know what to do. Shadow then prepared to leave as well, before Silver asked him what he's going to do.
It's all because he fell instead of me.
Shadow, that's...
In saving my life, he conferred a value onto it. I want to return that value to him. We have to save him, no matter what it takes.
But how?
We need the Chaos Emeralds.
Ooh.
With those parting words, Shadow vanished. Silver hasn't seen him since. He has no idea where he's gone. He simply evaporated into thin air. Back in the present, Silver finishes this recount of events as the team of heroes sit around him, having been listening with great interest now, more tranquil than when he initially entered. Everyone is left shuddered by the vivid description of Shadow and Silver's brush with the androids, but moreover, the mere thought that Sonic is now aligned with Eggman has Amy and Knuckles shaking their heads, denying the possibility and writing it off without speculation. They'd sooner believe that Silver is lying than accept that. Silver reiterates that there's no bad blood between them, giving them an oath that he's told nothing but the truth thus far. He then furthers this by saying that he's brought them a peace offering. He guides them through the lounge and to the front doorstep. Once there, the team gasp as they behold the broken husk of Metal Sonic laying on the grass in Vanilla's front yard. Silver uses his ESP to drag Metal over and dangle him in front of Tails to get a closer look while the others chat amongst themselves, wondering why Metal is in such a state. Before long, the team have migrated to the backyard, having brought Metal with them. The robot is laid out on his back while Tails is sat with a yellow PDA, a bag of spare parts, and a toolkit he brought from home. After some trial and error due to his unfamiliarity with Eggman tech, Tails manages to wire into Metal's system in an initial attempt to utilize his inbuilt GPS to lead them to Eggman. This proves unsuccessful, however, as Metal is not only too damaged, but has also seemingly been blocked from Eggman's network.
Damn.
However, Metal's hard drive disk is still mildly operational, and so Tails begins to play his recently recorded data to find out everything the robot did before falling offline. As the jittering images display on the handheld screen and crackling audio blurts out from the speaker, the heroes see through the eyes of Metal all the circumstances that unfolded at the end of Part 2. The Sonic android bunker, Dr. Eggman protecting Sonic and claiming that Metal is Tails' creation, made to destroy him, the footage concluding with a first-person view of Metal being smashed by the Eggbreaker's spiked arm, cracking his lenses and making the image too broken to discern. But for a moment, the team feels a fraction of sympathy for the lacerated robot, but is quickly overtaken by horror, as this evidence all but confirms beyond a shadow of a doubt that what Eggman said is true. They can no longer negate this. With Sonic missing, he's likely with the Doctor at this very moment. Seeing all of these events lining up like dominoes before him, Tails acknowledges the very clear threat they all now face, as do the rest of them. The Fox Boy then kindly asks if Vanilla has a means of portable power in the household besides the plug sockets, to which Vanilla replies that there's an old inverter generator in the shed for the odd power outage. In an unprecedentedly bold move, Tails reveals that he's going to bring Metal back online. Most of the others are vocally disapproving, having tangoed with Metal at the end of Heroes, but Tails makes an infallible case, stating that without Shadow, Metal and Silver will be the only ones who could stand up to Sonic one-on-one, which causes Knuckles to speak up in outraged aggravation, annoyed that Tails didn't include him in that lineup. Tails concludes that Silver coming to the past might have changed things. They now have Metal Sonic. Things might be different, but reprogramming Metal is beyond his capabilities. The only chance they have at securing his help is by speaking to him. Everyone withdraws, silently yet harmoniously agreeing to the plan. In moments, the Jenny is hooked up and ready to go. Taking the obvious precautions, Silver ensnares Metal, holding him in place as Tails fires it up. As the reboot finishes, Metal instantly thrashes at the sight of the heroes looking down at him. Silver's grip stays strong as Metal is too frail to lash out fully, though his eyes pierce everyone present. After a few seconds have elapsed for Metal to get his bearings, Tails finally leans in and speaks to him.
Metal, look at me. I know what Eggman did to you. He threw you out, didn't he? He threw you out because he thought you couldn't serve him anymore. You had no choice but to run. But your core programming is still calling you back to him.
Tails outlines the details of Sonic's consorting with Eggman and the inevitable fight that is soon to come. He chooses his words carefully in an attempt to bait Metal before enticing him with an alluring proposition.
I know what you want. You want another crack at Sonic, right? You want to destroy those androids that replaced you. You want to prove that you're superior and return to Eggman's side. But the only way you can do that is if we work together. I can fix you up, but only if you help us fight. Do we have a deal?
Tails then tells Silver to drop his ESP, and he does just that, releasing Metal. Tails again repeats himself, but more sternly than before.
Do we have a deal?
Metal stares back, motionless, before slowly nodding his head in an unspoken agreement.
Okay.
And so, over the next few days, Tails makes the rudimentary repairs to Metal. The team weigh their options and their subsequent plan of attack should the androids show up here or in neighboring cities. With no clues as to Sonic, Shadow, or Dr. Eggman's whereabouts, the heroes unanimously elect to search for the rest of the Sonic android bunkers. Thanks to the astute input of Silver, they soon have a target decided, a subterranean facility located underneath the barren wastes of Frontier Canyon. You might recognize this place as the place we saw Sonic zipping across in Team Sonic's intro in Sonic Heroes, and the name Frontier Canyon was pulled from the level of the same name in Sonic Rivals 2. Yes, I'm aiming to imply that those locations are the same. Silver once again recalls his hunch that Dr. Eggman might have begun moving the androids in preparation or in fear of their discovery, and the existence of such a remote bunker smack dab in the middle of nowhere leads many of them to suspect that this would be where he'd transport them to. It's the perfect target. As they get ready to head out, Cream practically throws a tantrum demanding to come with them and help in any way she can. Big also wishes to go too. Amy initially refuses, citing the danger that they may face, but after some pushing, Vanilla allows it. She knows that nothing stopped Cream from running off on adventures before, and she knows that she always comes home safe. Even though she's only known some of them for just a few days, she trusts the group.
Okay, Cream.
And she knows that they'll take care of her child no matter what. Everyone barring Metal smiles and confirms that they will, especially Vector, who for some reason throws up his hand in militaristic salute. Big also leaves Froggy in the hands of Vanilla until he gets back. Before long, they all arrive in Frontier Canyon. They gather at the entrance, hidden in the side of a 30-foot rock formation. The coast appears to be clear, as the entrance is surrounded by nothing but a wide patch of dry land and cacti. A keypad stands adjacent to the large steely doors, and Rouge attempts the same password she used to break into Sonic's chamber when she found him and Omega, but the code is declined. They know that if they force the doors, a silent alarm may be triggered, giving them only minutes to act. That's when Tails cuts in, marching forth in the Cyclone, having brought the bipedal mech for extra protection should things go south. He aims his rear cannon at the door, and in a thundering explosion, the hatchway peels open. Tails throws Cream a radio and instructs her, Cheese, and Big to stay put outside. He tells them to find a vantage point and contact them if they see anything weird, insisting that they're the backup, when in reality, he and Amy just want to keep them out of harm's way. The trio agree, and the rest of the team rush inside, descending further down, deep below the surface. Upon reaching the foundation, in the depths they happen across a gigantic room, the size of a warehouse or processing factory. Inside this dark and misty chamber, lo and behold, they make their discovery. A field of red containment pods in quantities not seen thus far.
Here we go
far
again.
too many to count. However, upon closer inspection, the heroes realize that each and every one of them are empty, vacant of their android occupants. Assumptions fly back and forth. Were they too late? Did Eggman move them already? Is this the wrong location? Or is this whole thing a... Just then, a foggy stream of light sweeps down from somewhere above, and a hologram of Eggman appears on the path in front of them. The team tense up into battle stances as the Doctor makes another of his trademark and sardonic welcomes. He then comments on the presence of Metal Sonic amongst the heroes, indicating to them that they are witnessing a live broadcast and not a recording. The Doctor is shocked to see Metal operational and in one piece, and soon deduces that Tails was the one who did the refurbishments. Eggman purses his lips, holding back a chortle upon realizing that Metal's defection lines up perfectly with the story he wove to Sonic. With such an opportunistically grand cosmic fluke, he's not even mad that Metal's standing against him. Silver then chimes in and demands to know how Eggman knew they were coming, to which the Doctor replies,
"Because of you, future boy. Thanks to you, I concocted the most ingenious plan."
Eggman reveals that he overheard everything during Silver's first confrontation with Sonic way back in Part 1. Due to Silver's rambunctious confessions to the heroes, Eggman learned not only of the Hedgehog's origin, but also his knowledge on the Sonic androids and his tidings from the future. The Doctor had a theory that Silver made a surprise appearance on the Final Fortress because he knew the stash of androids were on board, and if he knew that, then he might know where the others are being stored too. And when he and Shadow invaded the bunker the other day, his suspicions were confirmed. From there, all he had to do was wait, having passed on the details of Sonic in the assumption that Silver's desperation would lead him to join forces with the heroes and subsequently pass that info on to them, and, consequently, Silver's cavalier attitude combined with their helter-skelter compulsion to rescue Sonic would bring them all here, sooner or later. In that same moment, amidst Eggman's grandiose speech, Cream's voice calls out on Tails' radio. In near hysterics, she screams to them about something approaching, but her cries come through a static garble due to some underground interference. Each of them quickly realize that something's wrong, but it's too late. Outside, as Cream, Cheese, and Big watch in dread from a safe distance, from the clouds come a flurry of gigantic missiles, each with Eggman's logo embellished upon them. They impact, carpet bombing the entire stretch of land and the bunker entrance area. Underground, muffled explosions are heard as a quake vibrates through the entire facility and the heroes stumble. Before they could even figure out what's going on, in that very next moment, the entire ceiling comes caving in over their heads, trailing a flood of heavy rock from the canyon above. The floor beneath them splits in two, and they go tumbling down a jagged chasm as debris pours in, and in a mere 5 seconds, the whole bunker has been flattened. The dust settles and the last few pebbles rattle about. The entire team are left crammed together in the dark, deep below the surface underneath tons of heavy rubble. Every few moments, the sickening sounds of grinding rock echo out as the huge slabs shift positions above them. But the only thing preventing the crevice from caving in further is Knuckles and Silver. The two stood firm, their hands raised, holding it all up together. Many of the cast are incapacitated. Espio and Amy are pinned down. Tails, still in the cyclone, struggles to get the walker loose after the fall left it battered and its feet wedged in. Rouge, Vector, and Charmy do what they can to help them, but all of them are scraped and contused in some fashion. The only one who went unscathed is Metal Sonic, who utilized his impervious black shield to protect himself. As every one of them comes to their feet, they panic as claustrophobia becomes apparent, but the quick thinking of Knuckles and Silver gives them hope. Knuckles releases his hold of the ceiling and begins to speedily tunnel a way out, while Silver uses all his mental might to take the full monstrous weight of the canyon above. Back outside, Cream, Cheese, and Big are standing atop what was once the bunker entrance, desperately casting aside stones in an effort to find their friends. They hold on to hope, and their prayers are soon answered as Knuckles comes bursting forth in a roar, the rest of the team hurrying behind him. They climb out, each taking a deep breath and dusting themselves off, checking that they're all okay. But their relief is short-lived. They all turn. Their eyes drift skyward, instantly sighting a swarm of steel clouds floating in the air. Eggman's battleships. Hatches underneath each of the crafts begin to creak open, and from within, hundreds and hundreds of Sonic androids emerge, pouring down and landing at ground level. The heroes look on, aghast, fearful, outnumbered beyond comprehension, and with nowhere to run as the army of killer droids line up little more than 100 yards from them. But unbeknownst to the heroes, a somber, spiny blue hero looks down at them from one of the airships, and a vengeful smile glides across his face. And that's where we're gonna leave this story for right now. But only for today. Like with the last 2 episodes of the Emerald story, this What If is getting an additional release. As a special gift to those of you itching for more, Part 4 is going up shortly after this one, so stay tuned. This chapter of the story isn't over just yet. How will the heroes cope to oppose the full might of the Eggman fleet, the Sonic androids, and the true Sonic himself? Please share your thoughts with me in the comments below. I've been the Sega Scourge, and I'll see you.
Yeah, so anyway, this was a fire video. Shout out to Sonic. And shout out to Sega Scourge for this video, man. It's fire. Them Metal Sonic's about to put in work, bro. It's gonna be a tough battle for them Sonic heroes, boy. Whew. But anyway, man, let me know what you feel about the video down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.